You're sort of new to your home sold guaranteed realty, I think, right? How many months now?
February this year.
February this year, okay.
Yes, sir.
And what's your feedback on it?
It's amazing. And when I say it that way, first, I'll never lie to you. I tell my kids the same thing. I'll never lie to you, so that way you'll trust everything I say, rather good or bad. When I say it's amazing, it's better than what I thought it would be, and it's more than what I expected. And I'll say it this way: it's everything I expected, and here's why. Todd, even when you launched Your Home Sold Guaranteed, initially, and I'll be very truthful, I had so much on my plate with Platinum that I was trying to implement everything, and I found myself hitting a ceiling, meaning for 2 years, my GCI just kind of stayed the same. It was more than I had ever done, and but it kind of stayed the same. And I just, you know how you have a craving for food? I was craving for information. Like I need more information. There are puzzle pieces that I'm missing. And I kept hearing about Your Home Sold Guaranteed. And Todd, you can attest to this, that I didn't really want to talk about it because I didn't want to be sold, if that makes sense. I didn't want to be sold on a new idea. Then I was still trying to implement this. But what happened was the why, the picture that I have in my mind of what my business can be. I really still don't see what that end result can be, but I know that it can be something great. And why am I saying this is because I have a picture. So I had already owned my own brokerage. So even though I'm small, I had already had Kirk & Company Real Estate. And so I was an independent broker in my MLS. And with the Guaranteed Sell program, implementing that, it was Your Home Sold Guaranteed, we'll buy it, Kirk & Company. So I had already implemented that, and I could see how people would find value in the way I do business. So I did stand out in my marketplace, but I felt like I was sort of maxing that opportunity out. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was talking to another business owner on a Friday, for example. He's in a totally different industry. And the conversation sort of went to, I'm telling him I need a little bit more. And he's saying, how about that system you're with? I'm like, oh, well, that's great. But I'm thinking I have to reach a little higher. And we were talking about the name. So in my area, Kirk & Company, it still felt like a mom and pop shop, if that makes sense. And I didn't want that. I wanted to have something that would, one, give the training to my team members that I felt like they deserve. Like McDonald's has Hamburger University, where you buy a franchise and you go to this university. And I wanted something like that. I visioned, now this is me as Kirk & Company, envisioning that I could have this online training platform that I could actually have all of my agents and all of my different offices, is how I picture it, go and have training and learn the same thing, speak the same language, have the same amount of education. But I felt that it's going to cost me hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to implement that. So the training was something that I wanted, this online platform. And then the name Kirk & Company, I just felt that it was only going to go so far, because even though we were doing okay in our marketplace, just like you guys, I got a call from Weichert, I got a call from Remax, and it shocks you because they see you're doing okay in your marketplace, and they say, hey, we have this office that's coming up, and we like to know if you wanted to buy his Remax, and you get the book of business, or you get all the agents there, blah, blah. And I said, if you're calling me, I'm obviously doing okay. So I don't need that, because I wasn't interested in that. So this Friday, I kid you not, it was a Friday. I'm sitting in my car in my driveway talking to a very successful business owner, totally different industry, and we're friends. And I said, he just said, it sounds like you feel like your name, like you're only going to be able to take your brokerage only so far. And I'm not a spotlight type of guy. I like to kind of stay behind the scenes. And I always felt like, I always had to explain who was Kirk & Company, who was this Kirk guy. And I didn't want that to be a part of my business. I wanted the business to speak for itself. Like when you say a service business with customers, that's what I had in mind, that I wanted my business to be the product. So it was that Friday, and I made the decision that, you know what? It makes sense. Like I had been hearing Your Home Sold Guaranteed. I'm like, it makes sense. The online training platform, they're going to help me train my agents. Everybody that I bring on, they can help me train them. And then Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, now I'm not just Kirk & Company in this little isolated mom and pop shop in the minds of customers and agents. I wanted to be the place where agents who had skills, talent, that they would come to me, that I just didn't have to pick the bottom of a barrel agent and train them up. You follow me? I wanted to be a place where agents who had skills and they were classy, elegant, I wanted to have a place that they would want to be a part of. And so I called, I think I may have texted you or somebody, and I texted and said, I think it was Chase, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm all in. And I'm that type of person. I'm all in. And so even though it was an investment, just like I invested in myself in the Platinum program, I didn't look at it as a cost. I learned to look at it as an investment, a risk that I'm taking on myself, but I feel like I'm a guaranteed sure bet that I'm going to work hard. I'm going to give it all I got. I'm going to leave it out there in a court. You know, I'm the guy, I feel like I'm going to pass out on the court or in the ring before I give up. Does that make sense? So I feel like with the investment, I called, I said, what's the investment again? And they told me. And what I was thinking was, yeah, okay, that's a nice chunk, right? And in my area, I'm feeling like the least of all these guys because, again, my average price is like $180,000, $200,000, right? But what I came to realize is that I have money in the bank that I never had before. And I'm just being honest with you. So I had never, before this system at Platinum, I had never had a savings that I have now. So when you start to think about that, you say, okay, so if you've learned how to get that with the coaching and the teaching that you're getting at Platinum level, and now you have the funds that I can invest in myself, what are you afraid of? So just reinvest in yourself. And that's all it was. It was, not to take up too much time, this guy, I saw this clip or something. He had this 1,000-pound pumpkin. I don't know if you ever saw this. And he'd drive around every Halloween with this 1,000-pound pumpkin in his pickup truck. And people would just talk about, he'd be like, how do you get it so big? And he said, I just keep replanting the seeds every year. And that's how I started to look at it, that if he ate if he just ate the pumpkin, you know how you have fun, whatever, and they destroy it, and they never replant the seed from those pumpkins, he would not have those same size pumpkins year after year after year. And that's how I sort of started to look at my income and the revenue I generated. I am the guy, I kid you not, I'll invest in the marketing. I just kind of put the pedal to the metal because from this marketing, the lead generation, I've learned, and sorry if I'm taking up time, but I've learned that I can get the highest return off of my marketing dollars than anything else. And it's like, I can take this, I can run an ad, like the postcards. We learned how to do it, the Bill Watson postcard. All those things came to my mind. It was like, you learned how to run a postcard. Yeah, it cost you $3,000 up front, but you just made $20,000. And how did I learn how to do that? Your average fee was $2,800. It went up to over $8,000. How did you learn to do that? From the teaching that you're getting. So if they've taught you how to get to this level, and then in my mind, if I say, hey, I want to net in 3 years, I want to net $1 million. And then that fourth year, I'll net another $1 million. But then year 5, I want to net $2.5 million. So you start to think about that. How is it possible? Well, because now at this level, once I joined Your Home So Guaranteed, I had a consult with Todd, and we went over the 1 year, 3 year, personal, professional, financial. And it's funny because he said, so what's the 10-year goal? And I was like, man, when I say I struggle with it, and like I'm putting this like a business plan together, and I got my 1 year goal and I got my 3 year, and 10, it was like a question mark. Literally, I sat there in my, and I'll say this because I've always wanted theater chairs, right? So I'm sitting there in my lower level doing this, and these are the things that pop. You look around you and say, how in the world was I able to get these theater chairs, right? You're looking at this, and you're sitting back, and you say, because of the system that you're getting. You're getting the same teaching. So he said, so what's your 10 year? And I said, I don't know. He said, why don't you just 10X your 1 year? Why am I saying that? It's because he has the answers. Does that make sense? Instead of me, I was trying to figure out something, and he already had the answer to it because they've done this and they've helped all these people grow their business. So for me, even with Your Home So Guaranteed Realty, once we made the change, it's funny, the last transactions that we've completed, and we're surveying the client. And so how'd you find us? Oh, we Googled you. We found you on Google. And I show up, and as they're signing the papers, because you remember, like when you go on an appointment, you don't really ask again, how'd you find me? But while they're signing the papers, you want to say, you know what? Because now you're conscious of it because you've learned it.
For sure.
How'd you hear about me? I Googled you. And then I say, wow. And they say, we did our homework. But it's because you're showing up. We just had a closing, and I'll pass it. I'm not going to closings anymore. It's crazy. These are things, the nuggets you learn from these guys. So I'm not going, and for me, that's you know, I felt like, even though you have buyer agents, but then you start thinking, why am I going to closings? Because I learned it from these guys. Stop going it. So I stopped going. My agent came back. She said, Kirk, guess what happened at the closing? I said, what? She said, and it was our seller. So we're signing. We're filling out the information to get the review, 5-star review. We ask questions. How'd you hear about Kirk? Blah, blah, blah. What consumer programs did you find valuable? What was the end result? She's filling this out, and she's talking while she's filling it out. So my buyer's agent is there. I mean, my listing agent, well, I was the listing agent, so my closer is what I call her. She's sitting there, the buyer's agent, and buyers across the table. And hear this. She said, so how'd you find Kirk? She said, oh, I found him on Google. Like he comes up first. Now that's because this is what we've been taught, but the SEO, Your Home So Guaranteed, I'm coming up first when they search me. You know what the buyer agent says across the table? Well, he pays for that. He paid for that. And all I was thinking was like, yeah, I did. Are you following what I'm saying? But these are skills and strategies that you're learning at this level that it's getting you business. So I'm looking forward to a great future with Your Home So Guaranteed. It's the best decision just to invest in yourself.